Good Monday. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafried and Brew. Well, as we go into next week, the whole focus will be on GDP for the second quarter. So when we get that announcement, what will the impact be? As we've talked before and watched over these many months, watching the economy based upon the Federal Reserve of Philadelphia's Coincident Index, which looks back over the last 3 months, and then the leading index, that we've been talking about the fact that GDP appears to be slowing. From that original number in the first quarter at 2.4% down to 1.8% that we talked about, the Coincident Index previously released last month was suggesting that that number is going to continue to decline in here. So we'll look for what this number will be on GDP, but we have the release of the June Coincident Index. And we can see across the country that there's only a few, 2 dark green states, which is growth greater than 1%. When we look at the light greens going into the negative growth with the pinks and the flat growth with the grays, is that what is this now saying? Well, over the last 3 months, it's saying 0.7% growth. The most recent month, 0.2% growth, which would indicate that GDP will most likely be below that 1.4% type growth, maybe even below 1%. What is happening out there in terms of the economy? Why do people think that, especially the Federal Reserve, that this economy is growing over that 2 to 3% type growth? Well, my belief is that there's fear out there right now that is having an impact on businesses, impact on growth. Fear of the government from the standpoint of Obamacare impacting government spending cuts. All of these fears surrounding with the government are putting pressure overall on our economy, slowing it. That, in my mind, does not equal what the Federal Reserve is saying in terms of their forecast, and most likely it's going to cause them to continue the purchasing of government securities and mortgage-backed securities, maybe even at a higher level, because this fear matched with lower GDP overall means slower growth. And that you might start to hear people using the R word in here. That are we going to actually be pushed into a recession? That, from the standpoint of the 6-month leading index, is still saying that we're going to have slow growth at about 1.6%. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafried and Brew. Have a great week.